The crystal chandeliers of the Meridian Fashion House sparkled like diamonds against the night sky, visible through the glass ceiling that crowned the converted warehouse. Manhattan's fashion elite had gathered for the annual spring collection preview, an event that could make or break careers with a single nod or dismissive glance. Iris Chen stood outside, clutching her leather portfolio with white knuckles. At 28, she was older than most design assistants, and that was precisely the problem. She should have been showcasing her own collection by now, not fetching coffee and pinning hems for Miranda Voss, creative director of Meridian and the industry's most celebrated designer. "You can do this," Iris whispered to herself, smoothing down her simple black dress, the only designer piece she owned, purchased secondhand and altered to fit her petite frame. With a deep breath, she pushed through the revolving doors. The security guard narrowed his eyes at her. Invitation. Iris fumbled in her clutch. "I'm with Miranda Voss, design assistant." He scanned the list dispassionately. Name: Iris Chen. The guard's expression shifted subtly. "Wait here." Minutes ticked by as the fashionably late continued to arrive, each entrance more dramatic than the last. Influencers posed against the Step and Repeat banner while photographers called their names. No one noticed Iris. Finally, a woman with a sleek bob and an earpiece approached. "Miranda says you can come in, but stay in the back. She needs those sketches for her interview with Vogue." Iris nodded, relief flooding her system. "Thank you, Zara." The PR director's lips thinned. "Just don't embarrass us. That dress is 3 seasons ago." Inside, the warehouse had been transformed into a futuristic garden. Models with slick-back hair and metallic makeup showcased angular silhouettes in vibrant greens and blues. Iris recognized her hand in every piece, the pleating technique she'd developed, the asymmetrical necklines she'd sketched at 3 a.m. while Miranda watched over her shoulder. She spotted Miranda holding court near the runway, champagne flute in hand, her signature white blonde bob gleaming under the spotlights. Beside her stood Julian Astor, heir to the Astor retail empire and Miranda's most important client. Iris approached cautiously, portfolio extended. "Miranda, I have the sketches you wanted." Miranda turned, her eyes narrowing. "Iris, I thought I told you to wait until I called. The PR team said you needed them for Vogue." "Did I ask you to speak?" Miranda's voice carried, causing nearby conversations to falter. "This is why you'll never make it in this industry. No sense of timing, no understanding of hierarchy." She took the portfolio and carelessly flipped through it. Julian Astor raised an eyebrow. "Who's this?" "Nobody," Miranda said dismissively. "Just an assistant who thinks talent is enough in this business." She laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Look at her wearing that dress to my event. It's from my reject pile 3 years ago." The crowd tittered. Someone took a photo. "I designed half those pieces in your collection," Iris said quietly, the words slipping out before she could stop them. The room went silent. Miranda's smile froze, then twisted into something ugly. "Security," she called, snapping her fingers. "Please escort Ms. Chen out. She's clearly had too much to drink." 2 men in black suits materialized on either side of Iris. "I haven't had anything to drink," Iris protested, but it was too late. The crowd parted as she was led toward the exit, whispers and camera flashes following her retreat. At the door, Miranda called out, "Iris, don't bother coming in tomorrow or ever again. In fact," she raised her voice to address the room, "if anyone hires this girl, consider your relationship with Meridian terminated. She's been stealing designs." Iris felt the blood drain from her face as the doors closed behind her, the sound of laughter and clinking glasses fading into the night. Iris's tiny studio apartment in Queens felt especially empty that night. She curled up on her second-hand sofa, laptop open to the fashion blogs already buzzing with headlines. Drama AT Meridian, assistant designer thrown out, and Miranda Voss accuses unknown designer of theft. Her phone buzzed with a text from her best friend Layla. "Saw what happened. Are you okay? Call me." Iris pressed her hands to her eyes, memories flooding back of how she'd arrived at this point. 5 years ago, she'd been a recent Parsons graduate with dreams as bright as the Manhattan skyline. Her senior collection had won the prestigious Gold Thimble Award, with judges praising her revolutionary approach to sustainable luxury. Offers had come in, including one from Miranda Voss, then an up-and-coming designer herself. "You have something special," Miranda had told her over coffee. "I'm building a brand that will change fashion forever, and I want you beside me." The salary was meager, but the opportunity seemed priceless. Miranda became more than a boss, she was a mentor, sometimes even a friend. They worked 16-hour days side by side, Iris learning the business while Miranda learned from Iris's fresh perspective. Then came the Astor account. Julian Astor was looking to rebrand his family's staid department stores, and he wanted exclusive designs. The night before their presentation, Iris had a breakthrough. What if we combine traditional Asian textile techniques with futuristic silhouettes? She'd sketched frantically, page after page of innovative designs that honored her Chinese heritage while pushing fashion forward. Miranda had watched silently. "It's good," she finally said. "Too conceptual for production, but I'll keep these for reference." The next day, Iris was mysteriously uninvited from the presentation. A week later, Miranda unveiled the Voss Neo-Traditionalist collection to rave reviews. Every piece was Iris's design, down to the stitching patterns. "I improved on your concepts," Miranda said when confronted. "This is how fashion works, Iris. Ideas flow upward. Be grateful I'm giving you experience." After that, Iris was gradually demoted from collaborator to assistant. Her name disappeared from credits. Her workspace was moved to a back room without windows, but she stayed, convincing herself she was paying dues, building connections. Layla had warned her, "She's using you, Iris. You're too talented to be someone's shadow." "It's complicated," Iris had defended. "Breaking into fashion is impossible without connections. I just need to be patient." Patient while watching Miranda receive the Designer of the Year award for a collection Iris had conceptualized. Patient while her innovative pleating technique became the Voss pleat in fashion textbooks. Patient while her salary remained barely enough to cover rent in the city's cheapest borough. Her father had offered help countless times. Chen Wei was a self-made businessman who'd come to America with nothing and built an import-export empire. Now semi-retired, he lived quietly in a modest house in Flushing, his true wealth known to few. "The fashion industry is exploitative," he'd warned. "Why not work with me? We could start your own label." But Iris had been determined to make it on her own merits. "I don't want people to think I succeeded because of my dad's money." How ironic that now she had failed despite her talent, while Miranda succeeded despite her mediocrity, all because of connections and class. Iris's phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. It was her father. "I saw the news," he said without preamble. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine, Dad," she lied, wiping away tears. "No, you're not. I'm coming over." An hour later, they sat at her tiny kitchen table, takeout containers between them. Chen Wei hadn't asked questions, just listened as Iris finally unleashed 5 years of frustration and betrayal. When she finished, he nodded once. "I've been waiting for you to see what I saw years ago. That I was naive, stupid. That you were being loyal to someone who didn't deserve it." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card. "It's time you met my lawyer." The next morning, Iris woke to her phone exploding with notifications. Someone had leaked security footage of her confrontation with Miranda, edited to make Iris appear drunk and aggressive. Miranda had given an exclusive interview to Fashion Insider, claiming Iris had been stealing designs for years and selling them to overseas manufacturers. Worst of all, Layla had posted a message distancing herself. "For the record, I had no idea what at Iris Chen Designs was doing behind the scenes," completely shocked and disappointed. Layla, who had recently been hired as a junior stylist at Meridian. Layla, who knew the truth. Iris called her immediately. "How could you?" "Iris, I'm sorry," Layla whispered. "Miranda made it clear either I back her story or I'm fired. You know I can't lose this job, my mom's medical bills." "I understand," Iris said mechanically, though something broke inside her. "Take care, Layla." By afternoon, the story had evolved into a full character assassination. Fashion bloggers dug up old photos, critiquing everything from her student work to her appearance. "Iris Chen, talent thief or delusional nobody," one headline blared. Miranda's powerful friends shared the story, adding their own condemnations. At 3 p.m., Iris received an email from Parsons requesting that she refrain from mentioning her affiliation in any public statements. At 4 p.m., a potential employer called to cancel an interview scheduled for the following week. By evening, Iris Exposed was trending in fashion circles. Iris watched in horrified fascination as her career imploded in real time. The final blow came at 7 p.m., an invitation to the Meridian afterparty at Le Cirque, clearly sent to her by mistake. Attached was a memo. Remember, tonight's theme is frauds and failures. Miranda will be doing her Iris impression at 10. Don't miss it. Something snapped inside her. 5 years of submission crystallized into rage. She texted her father, "I'm ready, let's do this." His reply was immediate, "Car outside in 20 minutes, wear something memorable." Iris pulled out the one piece she'd never shown Miranda, a dress she'd designed for herself but never had occasion to wear. Structured but feminine, with innovative seaming that created an optical illusion of constantly shifting angles. She paired it with her grandmother's jade earrings and the red-soled shoes she'd splurged on after her first bonus. The black town car her father sent gleamed under the streetlights. Inside, Chen Wei waited with his lawyer, Edward Kim. "Are you sure about this?" Edward asked. "Once we start, there's no going back." Iris looked at the folder in his hands, evidence compiled meticulously over years by her father, who had suspected this day would come. "I'm sure," she said, "it's time." Le Cirque blazed with light as they pulled up. Paparazzi swarmed the entrance, capturing the arrival of fashion royalty. Iris took a deep breath and stepped out of the car, her father and the lawyer flanking her. The photographers initially ignored her, then did a double take. "Isn't that the girl from this morning's scandal?" one whispered loudly. Whispers spread like wildfire. By the time Iris reached the door, the crowd had fallen silent, all eyes on her. The security guard blocked her path. "You're not on the list." Chen Wei stepped forward. "I believe we are." The guard looked at him dubiously until Edward handed him a business card. The guard's eyes widened slightly and he made a quick call. After a tense moment, he stepped aside. Inside, the party was in full swing. A giant screen displayed the viral video of Iris being escorted out, set to mocking music. Waiters carried trays of rejected designer cocktails. In the center of it all stood Miranda, holding court while wearing a crude imitation of Iris's workday outfit, complete with exaggerated dark circles under her eyes. "And then she said, 'I designed those clothes,'" Miranda mimicked, her voice high and whiny, as if someone who shops at discount stores could create haute couture. The crowd roared with laughter until they noticed Iris standing at the entrance, chin high, eyes blazing. The room fell silent. Miranda's smile faltered. "Interesting party theme," Iris said, her voice carrying in the sudden quiet. "Though if we're celebrating frauds, shouldn't you be the one being mocked, Miranda?" Miranda recovered quickly, her smile turning predatory. "Security, I don't recall inviting this person." Two guards moved toward Iris, but Chen Wei held up a hand. "Before you embarrass yourselves further, perhaps you should know who you're dealing with." Julian Astor pushed through the crowd, curiosity evident on his aristocratic face. "What's going on, Miranda? Why is your little assistant causing such a scene?" "Ex-assistant," Miranda corrected, voice brittle, "and she's clearly unstable." Edward Kim stepped forward. "My client has evidence that Ms. Voss has been systematically stealing her designs for years, while simultaneously engaging in defamation and workplace harassment." "This is ridiculous," Miranda scoffed. "Who would believe a nobody over me?" "Perhaps the Copyright Office," Edward replied smoothly, opening his briefcase. "Ms. Chen has been documenting her work since design school, every sketch, every concept, properly dated and legally protected." Whispers rippled through the crowd. A junior editor from Vogue pulled out her phone and began typing furiously. Miranda's laugh was forced. "Anyone can register copyrights after the fact." "True," Edward agreed, "but not everyone has witnesses." He nodded toward the door where Zara, Miranda's PR director, stood with a flash drive in hand. "Zara," Miranda gasped, "what are you doing?" Zara approached slowly. "I've watched you build your career on other people's talent, Miranda. Not just Iris, dozens of interns, assistants, even the seamstresses from your factory in Malaysia. I kept records, emails, voice memos, video of you instructing staff to remove creator credits." "You signed an NDA," Miranda hissed. "Which is void in cases of criminal activity," Edward interjected. "Intellectual property theft exceeding certain financial thresholds becomes a federal offense." Julian Astor stepped closer, eyes narrowed. "Is this true, Miranda? Have you been passing off others' work as your own to me, to my family's business?" Miranda's composure cracked. "Julian, darling, this is a misunderstanding. Show us," someone called from the crowd, then more voices joined. "Show the evidence." Edward connected Zara's flash drive to the very display that had been mocking Iris moments before. The screen filled with a split image. On one side, Iris's original sketches with dates and timestamps. On the other, Miranda's original designs released months later. The similarities were undeniable: identical seam placements, the same innovative pleating, even Iris's distinctive asymmetrical necklines. Next came email screenshots. "Take Iris's name off the fabric development credits. Don't let her attend the store meeting. I'll be presenting her concept as my breakthrough. We need to keep her isolated. If other houses discover her talent, we'll lose our edge." The room had gone completely silent. Then came the most damning evidence: video of Miranda in her office flipping through Iris's portfolio. "This is genius," recorded Miranda admitted to someone off camera. "She has no idea what she's created. The stores will pay millions for this concept and she'll get her usual pittance." The footage continued, showing Miranda systematically photographing Iris's work and then placing the originals in a shredder. Julian Astor's face had turned to stone. "My family has paid you over $40 million for exclusive original designs in the past 3 years, Miranda." "It's not what it looks like," Miranda stammered, backing away. "I mentored her, those were collaborative." "Then why was I never allowed to meet this collaborator?" Julian cut in. "Why was she paid as an assistant rather than a designer? Why did you claim sole credit for the Asian-inspired collection that revitalized our brand?" Iris finally spoke. "I never wanted this public exposure, Miranda. All I ever asked was recognition for my work." "You ungrateful little—" Miranda lunged toward Iris, only to be intercepted by security, the same guards who had ejected Iris the night before. "Ms. Voss," Chen Wei said quietly, "you should know that my daughter was never alone or unprotected, despite appearances. I simply respected her wish to succeed on her own terms." "And who exactly are you?" Miranda sneered. Julian Astor's eyes widened in recognition. "Chen Wei, of Pinnacle Investments." Chen Wei inclined his head slightly. "Mr. Astor, a pleasure to finally meet you, though I wish under better circumstances." "You're—" Miranda faltered. "Pinnacle Investments is a multi-billion-dollar private equity firm." "Yes," Chen Wei agreed, "though I prefer to be known as Iris's father." Around the room, guests were already posting to social media. #Justice for Iris began trending as the fashion world realized they had witnessed a seismic shift in power. But Iris wasn't finished. "I didn't come for revenge, Miranda. I came for the truth." She turned to address the stunned crowd. "How many of you have had your work stolen, your ideas claimed by those with more power, your careers threatened if you spoke up?" Throughout the room, eyes lowered in recognition. A young pattern maker raised her hand, then an embroiderer, a color specialist. One by one, the invisible workforce of fashion acknowledged the truth they had all lived with. "This isn't just about me," Iris continued. "It's about an industry built on exploiting talent while pretending to celebrate creativity." Julian Astor stepped forward. "Ms. Chen, I believe we have much to discuss, preferably not in this venue." He shot a disgusted look at Miranda, who stood frozen in the center of her ruined empire. "My family prides itself on integrity. We would be interested in hearing your vision, directly this time." As they turned to leave, Chen Wei paused beside Miranda. "Ms. Voss, I suggest you contact your lawyer. Mine will be in touch regarding the civil suit. The criminal charges, I'm afraid, will come from the authorities." The following morning, Women's Wear Daily ran a special edition. "Fashion's Emperor has no clothes, Miranda Voss exposed." Overnight, Iris had gone from industry pariah to whistleblower hero. But the real work was just beginning. At her father's office in Midtown, Iris sat surrounded by legal teams, digital forensics experts, and fashion academics helping build an airtight case. The evidence was overwhelming. Server logs showing Miranda accessing Iris's design files after hours. Pattern pieces with Iris's handwritten notes that Miranda had claimed as her own. Sworn statements from seamstresses confirming Iris as the true creator. Factory records showing Iris's name crossed out and replaced with Miranda's. Metadata proving Iris's original creation dates, predating Miranda's inspirations. "It's the most clear-cut case of intellectual property theft I've seen in fashion," said Professor Carmen Liu of FIT, examining the timeline of evidence. "The industry often operates in gray areas, but this is black and white." Julian Astor arrived with his legal team around noon. His family's retail empire had built its recent renaissance on Miranda's, now revealed to be Iris's, designs. "The Astor Group finds itself in an awkward position," Julian began. "Our contract specifically commissioned original work from Miranda Voss." "We understand your concern," Chen Wei replied calmly. "However," Julian continued, "after reviewing the evidence, we've decided to terminate all agreements with Meridian effective immediately. Furthermore," he turned to Iris, "we would like to offer you a direct contract, Ms. Chen, to properly credit and compensate you for your work." Iris blinked in surprise. "Thank you, but I'm not interested in simply replacing Miranda." "I suspected you might say that," Julian smiled, "which is why I'm prepared to offer backing for your own label, full creative control, proper attribution, and a significant stake in the business." Before Iris could respond, her phone lit up with an incoming call from Layla. "I should take this," she excused herself, stepping into the hallway. "Layla, are you okay?" "Iris, I'm so sorry," Layla's voice broke. "Miranda's been firing everyone associated with you. Half the design team is gone." "What about you?" "Me too, but that's not why I called. She's destroying evidence, having interns delete files, shredding documents. She's desperate." "It's too late for that," Iris said. "We have everything backed up." "There's more," Layla continued. "The other assistants are coming forward, not just about the stolen designs, but financial fraud, labor violations, even physical abuse. It's ugly, Iris." By afternoon, Meridian's Exposed was trending worldwide. Former employees shared stories of 16-hour workdays without overtime pay, verbal abuse, and systematic discrimination. Models revealed they had been pressured to lose dangerous amounts of weight for Miranda's shows. Factory workers in Malaysia described unsafe conditions in facilities producing the ethically made Meridian collections. Journalists who had long championed Miranda now scrambled to distance themselves. Critics who had dismissed Iris's student work as derivative suddenly discovered its visionary qualities. The Fashion Editors Association issued a statement condemning intellectual property theft while carefully avoiding any mention of their previous complicity. Amidst the chaos, Iris received an unexpected visitor at her father's office, her former professor from Parsons. "I saw the news," Professor Zhang said, looking ashamed. "I should have spoken up when Miranda first started claiming credit for your techniques. We all knew the pleading innovation was clearly yours from your senior collection." "Why didn't you?" Iris asked simply. "Miranda funded our design lab. She sat on hearing committees," Professor Zhang sighed. "The system protects people like her. I'm sorry, Iris." By evening, the evidence had been submitted to the appropriate authorities. Meridian's stock plummeted 43% before trading was halted. Retailers pulled Miranda's collections from their floors, citing brand integrity concerns. As Iris left the building that night, reporters swarmed her. "Ms. Chen, how does it feel to be vindicated? Will you be pressing charges? Are you taking over Meridian?" Iris paused, considering her words carefully. This was never about taking Miranda down. It was about standing up for what's right, not just for me, but for everyone who's been silenced in this industry. The truth matters, creativity matters, and how we treat people matters most of all. As cameras flashed around her, Iris felt a strange lightness. For the first time in years, she was standing in her own light rather than someone else's shadow. 3 weeks later, Iris watched from her new studio as Miranda Voss arrived at the federal courthouse, a black umbrella shielding her from both rain and cameras. Once the most photographed designer in America, she now ducked her head to avoid the very spotlight she had once craved. The charges were extensive: intellectual property theft, wire fraud, labor violations, and obstruction of justice. The fashion empire Miranda had built, or rather stolen, was crumbling brick by brick. Meridian's headquarters had been reduced to a skeleton crew. After the initial exposé, more designers had come forward with evidence that their work had been appropriated. A class action lawsuit now represented over 50 former employees. Major retailers canceled orders. The Metropolitan Museum reversed its decision to feature Miranda in next year's Costume Institute exhibition. Celebrities who had once clamored to wear her designs now returned their gowns with public apologies to the true creators. Inside her former atelier, chaos reigned. Iris heard from remaining staff that Miranda had become erratic, firing people on site, destroying sketches, and demanding loyalty oaths from those who remained. She tried to blame it all on you, Zara reported during a lunch meeting, said you had manipulated the evidence, that you were trying to steal her legacy. Did anyone believe her? Iris asked. Not after the factory workers came forward, Zara said grimly. Those photos of the conditions in Malaysia, no one could defend that. The most devastating blow came when Fashion Forward, the industry's most prestigious